absolutely terrifying. I have never in my life seen something like that in the bush. I am never going in the state forest again when it's nighttime. I will not do it. Me and my brother had the most scariest experience out in the state forest. I've lived in Girvan my whole entire life, and the common thing we do is go out to the state forest. If it's nighttime or if it's daytime, one car, two cars, doesn't really matter. We'll go out to the state forest. We've been stuck out there plenty of times and we have had to sleep out there. In fact, one time we got stuck out there and it took us 4 hours to run back with one flashlight, and it was about 1:30 a.m. before we actually could get service and contact someone to come and pick us up. We've had some very crazy experiences out there, but that's just not going to happen anymore. I was out in the state forest testing the new car. It's probably 10 o'clock at night. My brother's in the passenger seat and my mate's in the back seat. Normally we'd take multiple cars, but we just figured, oh, we'll go for a quick run out there and a run back, so it wasn't really a big deal. But at one point, we come down to this hill into a gully. You know, I'm just crawling through the state forest and I lock eyes with something. My car is lifted, it's quite tall, and these eyes, higher than my car, just a bit higher, piercing at me. And the eyes were literally, I say 5 to 6 times bigger than our eyes, and maybe this far apart, like the size of my head apart. Its head would have been absolutely massive. It was so dark, I couldn't see its figure. We were just staring at the eyes. They stared right back at us. They were fluorescent yellow. They were brighter than any other eyes I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And the pupils, small, tiny pupils that were pitch black. It looked soulless, whatever it was. My face just went white. I look at my brother Drew and his face is completely drained of blood as well. And we're just in shock. And I throw the car into like gear 2. I fly out of there and I actually f***ed up my spring. I drove that fast, I actually broke one of my leaf springs on my car. And to this day, I just want to know what it was, because I went back out there and people go, oh, it could have been an owl. There's no trees where it was. I went back out there is no trees. It's a gully. That makes it worse. That takes this animal from being like 8 feet tall to like 15 or 20 feet tall. It was massive. The gully was really high. It was standing off the road and there's a massive drop down there. So whatever it wasn't in a tree. It was standing there that big, looking back at me and my brother and my mate in the back. He didn't see it. He was over my left-hand side and Drew and I went stunned, like silent, like we were speechless because we literally rolled past this and its eyes locked onto us and it just watched us and we watched it. It was absolutely terrifying. I have never in my life seen something like that in the bush. And it comes to the conclusion of what, like, is it a yowie? Is it one of those, is it a spirit? What is it? You could hook Drew and I both up to a polygraph test and we'll tell you what we saw that night. And it's very weird because if we came back the other way, if we weren't going down the hill and we had to go up the hill and we're going the other way, that's the only point on that whole entire trail that I actually have to get out of the car and turn hub locks on and put it in 4-wheel drive. Nowhere else I have to do that. So was it expecting me to come from the other way? Because what would have I done if I was coming the other way? Thank God I wasn't there to find out. Personally, I am never going to the state forest at night again by myself or with one car. We need multiple cars and I prefer to do it in the day now. But this happened about 3 months ago and it just replays in my head all of the time. You know, those eyes, I've never seen something like it. They were so bright. And then the pupils were so small and so dead and dark, and like an owl, just like the size of the owl would have had to been like this big, you know. It must have been a mass owl and there was no trees for an owl to sit, especially that close to the road. It's just absolutely insane. But cool bush story anyway. I have a lot of crazy bush stories, just like the panther. A lot of people talk about the panther. The panther is around here. I've seen the panther twice. My brother's seen it twice. My mum's seen it twice. My dad's seen it. I know so many people around here that have seen it, and not just that. Look at these footprints. I'll show them on the screen now. Footprints I found yesterday, and we keep on having it walking up and down our road. So we're going to set up some trail cams, be one of the first people to capture this thing because it's real. I've seen it. We've all seen them. We've seen two together, and they're, whatever they are, they're really heavy. These things, their footprints are like in solid dirt sometimes, and like trying to leave something like that, is quite incredible. Enough of me yapping. Thank you all for watching. A warning, if you ever want to go out into the Purgatory Bush, near Simsville it was, which was actually an old logging town, and it had a lot of creepy things go on there. Leave in the comments if you've ever seen something like that, or what you think it could have been, because I'm still stunned to this day. I've lived here for 12 years. I've gone out there so many times, and I have never ever seen something like that. And like it would have had to been as tall as that like that dozer. It would have had to be like, I felt like it could have just reached out and flipped the car over. There's no feeling it describe. When you see something like that, it's not like you're seeing a snake, or these snakes aren't a big worry to me. But when you see that and it's making eye contact and it's locking eyes with you, and you think, oh, what the fuck am I looking at? You know, it becomes very real, very scary, very freaky. We've seen some big footprints out there before, a lot of crossed over branches that have been purposely tied together, and all this really weird crap, even trees upside down in the ground, or rock formations. Like, anyway, getting ahead of myself. Could have been some sort of spirit, I really don't know. Let me know in the comments, because it's freaking the crap out of me.